Hi, my loves, and welcome back to the Revelations of a Ranting Sheep with your girl Lahoma. Um, this is gonna be a little different, very early in the game. Your girl has been out for the count since Friday. It's now Sunday, with a banging headache, like just splitting, just drilling, just man, just I've been literally like I got off of work and I left an hour early at that. I mean, I was done with my work, so it was good with the client. And I don't even remember if I had the headache at work. All I know is that I felt depleted. And I'm like, I have to go home. I didn't eat anything. At that point I wasn't really hungry, but I went and got I don't know if you guys have heard of Too Good to Go. If you haven't, you need to get on that. Um, but I got a Too Good to Go package or Too Good to Go bag. Um, and I ate some of my food on the train and I couldn't even, like, I'm a fast eater. Um, but I couldn't even eat fast. Like, I was just done for. Sleeping all the way through. Ooh, and it keeps going and coming. Um, right now it's not as bad as it was um, on Saturday, but I don't know. It's just annoying, It's just that gnawing feeling. So, yeah, I'm in my bed. I'm doing this recording because I still want to stay consistent. I'm starting my well. Okay, that's interesting. So I was supposed to start my cleanse today, Sunday. However, because of what I've been dealing with, I mean, it technically started a day early because I wasn't able to eat anything. Like every time I saw something solid or not solid, but like regular, like pizza or like chicken, pasta, anything like that, I just became so nauseous. So I've only been able to have fruit since Saturday, which is okay. Um, so I started a day early, so that's good. However, tomorrow I will start my the part of the cleanse where I have to take the herbs from the herbs 21-day full body cleanse. Ooh, I hope those herbs help flush flush out whatever it is that's going on in my system. This is terrible. I've literally been sleeping on and off since I got home on Friday evening, or Friday afternoon, rather. And I wanted to come on here again, consistency, right? Because I do feel a little better. Um, but I didn't want nothing to show. Like, I didn't want me not to show, like somebody or something or an animated something. Um, so I literally spent quite a few, maybe an hour or so, a little over an hour, trying to figure out how to do this. I don't know how it's gonna come out. I think I got it right at this point. I think I tinkered and did all the things right for it to come out the way I want it to come out, but honestly, who knows? And if it comes out funky, my apologies. Um, I know this is not super huge. Only my folks watch this, but you never know. So, you know, thinking ahead, thinking ahead. Um, ugh, so I'm hitting you with the black and white, you know what I mean? Love this picture. Looking cute. So yeah, today starts off with our first two, the first set of folks. I wanted to start off with something light, um, because, why not? So we're starting off with, and I like to just go with the flow. So I might be jumping back and forth. I might tell one story and then the other. Whatever the case may be, I want it to have not too many details, but also enough details. So the first person, just a brief description. The first person is from, well, hmm, technically the first person is from junior high school. That's where we met. However, our relationship started when I graduated and was in high school. And the second person is from high school. Um, this person I met through, at the time, a mutual friend, um, but he went to a different school. So I don't know how much is actually, I do know because I wanted to be like, oh, they're from this place, whatever, whatever. I don't think that those details are important. If they do come out, then they come out, but I want to stay to the meat and potatoes as much as possible. So, okay, I guess I'm gonna start off with one person at a time and then maybe make comparisons. So, the dude that I met in junior high school, very nice guy. Um, came across very super sweet. I think maybe still comes across. No, actually, no. I've had a run in later on in life. So that sweetness is definitely not there anymore. At least not in the same sense. The shyness that was there and all of that. Um, but anywho, very sweet person. I happen to be very attracted to quiet guys. I don't know really what it is, but it's just like I see a quiet dude and I'm just like, oh, he's quiet. Like, what's going on over there? Like, it's just the mystery for me. And I just want to get to know everything that is going on. So I, like all quiet guys that I've, approached, just start bothering him or whatever. And started talking as friends, like, it's junior high school, it's nothing crazy. Um, I think at some point in the seventh grade, people in the class may have tried to instigate us going out. Um, you know how kids do. Um, but I can't really remember because I don't know. You're shy, and I just like to bother shy people, like boys. But for me, at that time, because I was a child and I also had this natural innocence, I still have this natural innocence about me. Just because I'm bothering you does not mean that I'm trying to get with you. Like, I wasn't really interested in him in that way. Um, he was a handsome dude, but you know, like he was just cool. Um, so let me cut through the fluff. Once I graduated, we stayed in contact, or we, yeah, we stayed in contact, and at, eventually, no, we didn't stay in contact. I think we kind of found each other on MySpace or Scone. It was probably Sconex. Do y'all remember Sconex? Oh my goodness. That is eons ago. Like, Sconex was around for a hot second, like literally. Um, so I think we started talking on Sconex, just, how you doing, whatever. How was high school, blah blah blah. And he finally like came out and was like, I liked you or whatever. Um, and I asked him, like, why didn't you say anything? And he was just basically like, oh, well, the person that I was going out with at the time, who was a popular kid, um, someone not to be messed with. Like, he was a big dude and a very aggressive dude. He will be somebody that I talk about a little later on in the schedule episodes. Um, and he was just like, I do not want to mess with, like, I ain't want no trouble with him. So, I just kept that to myself or whatever. And I was like, but when I was bothering you, like, this person wasn't even a factor, like, you know? So, anyways, he came up to the table, said what he had to say, and we started dating. And within, I really shouldn't be doing numbers right now because it's really sketchy. Let's just say that things was cool until things were not cool, which was shortly thereafter. Like, he ended up disappearing for, I would say, maybe 5 months, maybe six. I think it was about 4 to 6 months. I think five is that sweet spot though, because I do remember thinking to myself, man, um, so I think it was right after his birthday, because he's a Virgo. So definitely, you know what? I might. It was so long ago, but let's just give the benefit of the doubt to my memory. I think I may have heard from him on Thanksgiving. Definitely by December's holidays, like ghost. Did not hear New Year's Day, did not hear um on Valentine's Day. So yeah, so B-Day no. Then after V-Day, the next thing will be my birthday. And did not hear from him for my birthday. Did not hear from him until April. And the minute I heard from him, I remember being on the phone with someone and I could assume who I was on the phone with, which I'm also going to talk about this person. This person is like, that person, he needed to be on the list. There's no way I'm going to make a list and not put him on it. Um, but that's also for later on, later episodes. Um, and I remember saying, like, after not hearing from somebody that you're supposed to be dating for months and their name pops up on your phone, child, honey, you let go of that call and you say, I'm gonna call you right back. And I remember saying, I'm gonna call you right back. Give me 10 minutes. That's all I needed. It's 10 minutes. And I didn't even think I took the full 10 minutes. Um, Hung up the phone with whomever I was on the phone with, went on the line, and I'm like, hello? I was about to step up and say the name, child. Honey, I'm about to play back the whole thing. Anyway, I'm like, hello? And he answered, he's like, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah. Literally talking to me like we on good terms. Like, you bugging. You for real bugging. I was like maybe a minute in, if not less. I was like, yeah, we're done. And he was like, what? I'm like, we're done. Like, we're not in a relationship no more. And this boy really was on some shock. Like, I can't believe you're breaking up with me right now type of emotion. And I'm just like, is he serious? You literally disappeared for, matter of fact, I don't think I heard from him on Thanksgiving. Nah, you disappeared for 3 holidays. Let's count uh let's count New Year's as a holiday. You disappeared for 4 holidays, including my my birthday. So 5 events. And you expect to show up and for me to be like, oh my gosh, babe, where have you been? What? What? I'm a teenager, bro, in high school. Are you crazy? And I was just about to say, look at this face. This is not even the face from high school. That's what I should have done. I should have found a picture from my high school. Oh, should I do that? I don't have any high school pictures here though. Or do I? Or don't I? Ooh, I kind of want to go see now. I hope it doesn't disrupt the picture. If it does, I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, never mind. I was gonna look for a picture. I mean, I did look for a picture, but I couldn't find anything. So, but I also don't look very different, like at all. If any, like if you come in real close, maybe you see a wrinkle here, a gray hair there. Oh, the gray. Whew. Any inside joke. Um, Literally inside joke. um, Anyhow, so yeah. Um, this young man for sure. And now, you know what? It's crazy because now that Something about that situation just stayed with me heavy. Because now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, why am I even talking about this? It just needed to come out of my spirit. But also I feel like, I don't know, maybe on some level it does um go hand in hand with the next person. Let's see. Let's compare. So the next person was in high school. I believe I was in junior. I think I was a junior. Um, I highly doubt I was a senior. Highly doubt it. But whichever the case may be, it really doesn't matter. The thing is that I met this person, which I can't even slip up and say his name because, honey, I already told you, I think. I'm not good with names. I'm great with faces, but terrible with names. And then if you mess up, like once I'm done, honey. I'm done. So his name has always been a miss in my mind. I do remember, I think the name that I remember is the name that one of the dudes used to call him. Um, and it wasn't necessarily his name. It was an extension. It was like he added more to his name. I can't really describe what I'm thinking. Um, but it was like a goof off of his actual name, is basically what I'm trying to say. So, I think his name started with a G. Child. So, anyways, um, let me tell that full story. There was this dude in high school that I had a crush on. Pretty dumb dude, but he was cute to me. And, when you're in high school, you don't really care if somebody is smart or dumb. They cute, and it is what it is. And so I was so attracted to this dude. Like, he was just the cutest thing to me. Yes, I did recognize his lack of scholastic ability. I don't know why that's funny, but it's hilarious. Oh, child. Oh, oh, oh. So, oh, that is funny, y'all. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. Um, very attracted to him. I remember in the sixth grade actually telling him that, I thought he was cute or whatever, so what's good? And he was like, nah. Which I was not offended. I, there was this situation in junior high school. I was in the sixth grade. Um, I don't think I mentioned this. I think it was something that was omitted just for fun, but now I'm ready to open the doors. So I'm a fire sign. Um, my birthday is in March, and I am not your typical fire sign in at least not in every sense, right? Um, but in certain ones for sure. So the story is I was in gym with my class, and there was this ridiculous girl who I would never, her name definitely is never gonna come out my head. And honestly, it's a terrible thing. I need to get let go of it. But anyways, um, the hostility has nothing to do with this particular story. Um, there was this cutie in the sixth grade that I had a crush on. I could say his name, Wendell. Oh, Wendell was such a cutie. He's probably still a cutie, maybe. Who knows? But he just reminded me of like a chipmunk in the cutest way though. Um, and I remember telling her, 'cause, it's sixth grade, everybody's saying who they have a crush on, whatever. And she was threatening me, honey, threatening me that she is going to expose the fact that I had a crush on him. And I was like, girl, if you don't get out of here with your, I was like, all right, say less. Because there was something, because there was more to this, right? I don't know what the more is, but maybe there was something that I was asking her for, or something that she was asking me for that I was like, no. And so her way was, I'm gonna blackmail you and basically tell this boy that you like him. And I was like, child. So I remember literally crossing, like laying over my other friend's legs and saying, calling him like, yo, Wendell. And he turns around. I'm picturing his face in my head. He is so adorable in sixth grade. He definitely does not look like that no more. Like I'm attracted to his little baby face. So cute. Um, and so yeah, I remember laying backwards and saying to him, Wendell, I have a crush on you. I think you're cute. He looked at me and smiled and was like, okay. And that was it. I literally leaned back over to my seat and called it a day. And I was like, okay, now he knows that I like him. And what? And wait. And so, from that moment on, like my crushes haven't always been that easy, but also you don't put a ram in a corner. Like it's just not gonna work. Like it's just not. So I'm just like, okay, now what? And also, it's not even just the fact that I'm a fire sign, or maybe it is. I don't know enough about like astrology to really dig deep into it, but I've always been one to not allow. I don't like when people like that whole blackmailing thing. Like that's why I always say like I'm an open book because I am an open book. Because what you're not gonna do is have something over me. You're not. The truth shall set you free, honey. And the truth has always set me free. I have never had anything that anyone could hold against me. Nothing. If there is something, trust and believe that nobody knows. Because that's how it should be. If you have a secret that you don't want somebody to throw into your face, I don't care how much you trust this person. People are people and things happen. If there's something that you really don't want anybody to know or ever to come out, you take that to your grave, baby. You don't tell nobody. And there is nothing in my life that I have shared with someone that I feel would put me in a predicament if I was ever to run for presidency. Not that I want to, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Um, because our path is our past, and why should we be judged by those things? Like, why should we still be held um, at fault for the things that we are humans and we're growing and we're becoming better. It's one thing to want to have a conversation about something and learn from those situations that people um, have gone through, but to dig up the past and actually treat a person as if they're still that person when in fact they're not, that to me is terrible. So, anyways, because of that scenario that happened in the sixth grade, it was easy for me to tell this young man that I liked him in the sixth grade. And he said no. And, he, basically was like, oh, yeah, like, I don't see you like that or whatever. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, we can still remain friends. Like, it's not a big deal. Just before shooting your shot was a term, just wanted to put it out there, whatever. And that's exactly what we did. We just remained cool. At least so I thought until junior year, which I strongly believe it was junior year. Yes, it was definitely, wait, because sophomore, yes, it was definitely junior year because I was definitely with my high school sweetheart senior year, heavy. Um, and I know I had taken a break from him, so it was definitely junior year. Um, so yeah, I thought we were cool until junior year now. He, knowing that I'm no longer in a relationship with my high school sweetheart at the time, um, he's like, oh, I want you to meet a friend of mine. So I was like, a friend of yours. Okay. So, anyways, I go along with it or whatever. Like, I'm genuinely this person's friend. You know what I mean? Genuinely. And I wait for him after school, um, with a girlfriend of mine, from high school, and we're waiting to meet this dude who goes to school. Um, I don't know, probably in Manhattan, I think. Finally comes, I see him, and I'm just like, this ain't really it. But I'm also someone who likes to get to know the person. And I got to know him, and honestly, he wasn't it either. But he was a break from the high school sweetheart. He was a break from the high school sweetheart. So I was like, okay, whatever, get to know you, blah, blah. Him and I were in a quote unquote relationship for, it was very short. I want to say 3 months, but I honestly think it was shorter than that. Um, okay, guy. Um, Interestingly enough, I don't know why this makes a point, but I remember him. We were coming back from my house. He didn't meet my mom, and somebody, like, people kept, not on that day, but he was one of those people who adults will stop us and say, "Oh, you guys make such a cute couple." I don't really know what that means. Like, energetically, I don't know when people come up to you saying that. I don't know if it really means much, but just wanted to put it out there. Um, Maybe that's a reason why I even stayed with him or even decided to be with him. I don't know, girl. I don't know, child. Um, so going out with him, and at some point in the relationship, I remember him telling me that um this our mutual friend, the one that I go to high school with, um, told him about me and that he has someone he wanted to meet and da 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 da. And he's gonna see how it's gonna go, this, that, and the third. But I think he knew that it was just like a little, like boys being boys type of thing. Um, yes, I think he did know, which is how the whole thing like came about. He was like, yeah, he told me. it was supposed to just be a joke or whatever. And he says, and I was happy it was you and not your friend because, she's kind of big or whatever. And I'm just like, first of all, you should be so lucky. Like, my friend is my friend for a reason. You know what I mean? And she's pretty. Like, what are you talking about? Just because she's big? Like, what? He was like, no, 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 she is pretty, but like, she's not my type, just that and the third, blase, blase. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. So, um, I told her to, and I think that's how the whole argument between them started, but I think I might be jumping ahead. Um, so once I found out that this was a joke to this started off as a joke with a mutual friend, um, I felt a way. I felt a huge way. So I remember going to another mutual friend who knew about the situation, and I asked him about it. And he was like, yeah, it just started off as a joke. Like, we're surprised that you guys went through with it. And I was like, all right. So then I went to the one who started it all. And I think I started off calm. And because, you want to catch them. You want to catch them. You want them to know. You want them to feel secure about telling you the truth. So when he admitted and started laughing in my face with his goofy at, oh, sorry, child, I'm about to go in with his goofy self. Okay. I went ham. Like I think we were in the lunchroom. This happened when we was in school. I went ham on him and I literally, from that point, never spoke to him again. Because I felt hurt that you can play games with people like this. Matter of fact, oh my goodness, the memory is coming back to me. So the only reason I was told about this from the boy that I was dating is because him and I are now on the brinks and he now chooses in a way to throw this in my face, kind of like, like, oh, this was never supposed to happen anyway. This was supposed to only be a joke, this, that, and the third, blah, blah. But I got to know you, and this, that, and the third, blase, 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 blase. So the part where he was telling me about my friend and him being glad it was me, that was actually in the beginning. Then the joking part came out at the end when things went crazy. That's what happened. And I went ballistic on all of them. Only the second mutual friend I didn't go off on because really, like, how do I explain it? Like, he was part of it, but he wasn't part of it. Um, there's more to that, but you know, it just wasn't a big deal with him. Because also our thing, like, we were just classmates in some classes. He wasn't really my people's. He was just a classmate that I would say hi to. Really cool, funny person, but it wasn't that deep. But this dude, like, you and I, like, I considered you my friend, and this is how you treat me. Like, it was just, it was a hard no for me. And I definitely dismissed him out of my life and dismissed this person that I was going out with out of my life. And man, that was a whole situation because I had also given him my PSP and he wanted to keep my PSP. And I was like, boy, 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 boy. But why I wanted to mention him was because Ladies need to be careful. Young ladies, all ladies, matter of fact, young, olds, and in between. We need to be careful about, um, and I know is difficult, right? But we need to be careful about not being in relationships when we ourselves do not understand our worth, or at least um, be in these relationships, but have somebody covering you, have somebody, you know, being your covering so that you don't get taken advantage of. Now, what I'm speaking of in particular is this young man knew that our mutual friend was doing this as a joke, as a prank. It was just supposed to be a prank. We were never actually supposed to like go out, but we ended up going out. And even though he knew this, um, he wanted to take it serious, but also a part of him didn't take it serious. And in fact, what he did do is took that opportunity to take advantage of the situation, take advantage of how open and willing I was to him. Um, so he was someone who I would always offer. I mean, I will always offer all of my guys to pay for stuff. Like, that's just me. Um, but this one in particular, he would accept all the way through and through, all the way through and through. In fact, there was a situation where he wanted to get his ears pierced, I believe. Was it his ears pierced? Yeah, I think that's what it was. He wanted to get his ears pierced, and I was like, ew, like that's not gonna fit you. And he was like, oh, but I think it's gonna look nice, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. So we went to the Coliseum on Jamaica Avenue, and I think he didn't have the money. Did he ask me or did I offer? I can't remember. I may have offered him. I can't remember if I just up and offered or if he asked me to pay for it for him and I just was like, okay. The point is that I paid for him to get his ears pierced. I can't remember how much it was. Uh, the point is that I was constantly paying for stuff. I'm a teenager. This is my um let me see, this is junior year. Was I babysitting? I was born 2006. Yes. I think at this point I may have started babysitting already. Hmm. So this is either my babysitting money or my little bit, I can't even call it allowance, my little bit of money that my mom would give me for school. And I'm using this money to treat this fool, like literally. Ladies, beware. Beware of people who can see that you do not know your worth. Even up to my adulting season, quite recent, in fact, which I will talk about too. Um, and it's hard because it's like it makes you question like, wow, do I really not appreciate myself? It's like, yeah, there's parts of yourself that you appreciate, but there's other parts that are still a bit of a struggle. Um, so listen, I don't even know how to title this. In my mind, I saw this completely different. Um, mm, 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 mm. Know your worth. I think that's what this was about. I think it's about knowing your worth. One dude over here disappearing on me and thinking that he could come back as if nothing happened. Then this other dude over here using me as his piggy bank all through and through. And this whole thing could be like every single one of the episodes could be titled Know Your Worth. Um, but I think because I really was gonna title this Who's the Clown? Because child, I could easily call them a clown, but really and truly, I'm over here with the bozo nose for allowing these fools. Because why? You see how I was like earlier, how when you see somebody who you haven't heard from, you know, you immediately answer. And that's coming from a perspective of like, oh yeah, you immediately answer to go off. But for what? I shouldn't have answered. This fool wasn't around for months. What I should have done is continued on the ghosting, but from my perspective, right? From my point, I should have been like, oh, look who's calling. That's cute. And continued on with my conversation. But instead, I chose to be aggressive and, you know, end it. But to me, that was because I was doing the right thing. Like on some level, I was still like, technically, we are still in a relationship. So let me do it properly. Forget properly. If a dude has not appeared for 6 months, 5 months, for I don't care. If a dude disappeared for 1 month, bro, are you kidding? I do not care. You're done. And you know what? You know what? That explains my foolishness with the ooh, baby. That explains it because I never even came to that conclusion for myself, right? I allowed this person to do that, but I have never come to the conclusion of like, even if they disappeared for 1 month, even if they disappeared for 2 weeks, because this is a relationship. Who disappears for 2 weeks? You know what I mean? No conversation, no communication of, hey, this is what I have going on. I just want you to know that I'm going to be um, away for so and so amount of time, whatever the case, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to say, I'm not going to put a number, a month, a week, a day. What I'm going to say is if you're not getting the proper communication that is required in order to be in a relationship, you need to have a conversation. Sometimes, some guys just, they were not raised, they didn't see certain things. And so, or they weren't raised in, whatever, in that way. And so they don't know. So have a conversation. And once you have that conversation, and nothing changes because those who I'm sorry, I know people are like, oh, nothing changes overnight, but uh, I happen to agree and disagree. When an individual hears that something doesn't work for their partner, um, the level of care that they have in their heart, um, because how much you care about somebody matters. The amount of effort you're gonna put in. Um, and if you do not care after this person has a conversation with you, it's going to be very obvious that you don't care. It's going to be very obvious. So you can choose to have the conversation several times, but I know my boundaries. And as far as the second person, what a hot mess. Know your worth. That is going to be the title. Know your worth. Today, that dude, oh my gosh. Okay, so today I'm not even gonna make it super hot. I was about to make it super hot, but I'm not. But today that dude is well, hopefully married and still married, because the last time uh we interacted, I saw that he was engaged to somebody that we went to junior high school with. Um, very shocking. Um, not the fact that they went to junior high school, but just the particular person, the particular person, it was a bit shocking. But that's not even a story for this or for me or forever. Like that's nothing that I ever want to talk about because it has nothing to do with my life. So I hope that they are happily married, um, with children if they so choose to have children. And that second dude, he was going out with some girl in his school that he happened to like a lot. I think he was going out with her before he was going out with me. I'm not sure. Um, the situation happened to be that him and I officially broke it off when I found out that he was cheating on me. Um, which, if you ask me today if I've ever been cheated on, I'll tell you no, or I don't know. It depends on the day. I either say no or I don't know. Um, because I don't, even though I'm talking about him, he's not really somebody that I like. He's obviously not someone who I can seriously be like, oh, that was my ex boyfriend, you know? But I'm talking about him because having a dude take advantage of you in that way when he is supposed to be catering to you, but he already knows, oh, this is just a game anyway. Like, I'm gonna squeeze this for all that I can. It's a little different. You know what I mean? So, um, he actually ended up like he ended up having a whole argument with my friend from high school that he was like, "Oh, I'm glad it wasn't her." And she comes to school the next day, honey. She comes to school the next day with her receipts highlighted and arrowed, and I it's so funny. And she was like, "He is cheating on you," and it was just it was just humorous. I remember reading their conversation. Like this was back, this is still like um AIM time, like AIM, if y'all remember AIM. And so anyways, so yeah, so I handled the situation. I wasn't heartbroken because again, I think we were each other's rebounds, which is why we took this so-called relationship somewhat serious. Um, but then she ends up telling him in the conversation that um, something something to the effect of, oh, it doesn't matter because she has somebody that actually loves her and blah blah blah, which I was shocked because I'm like, you don't even like this person, which she happens to be talking about my high school sweetheart. You don't even like him, but now because you're trying to make a point, now all of a sudden that's that's the homie, that's the one that we're defending. Like it was so ridiculous. But anyways, and this is what I mean, like people are people and they change and egos flare and people gonna do whatever to protect themselves. So she decided that she's going to throw this young man in his face because at that moment she felt like he was worth trash, less than trash. I'm glad she told me. Um, and I definitely handled the situation after that. Um, yeah, I think this was whack. I'm sorry to myself. But I feel like it was. But again, that's why it's the first one, kind of, sort of, right? Because it was more so about understanding, and it probably would have been better with like a what do you call it? You know how people used to do back in the day, like the draw my life. First of all, I'm awful at drawing, um, but that would have been so entertaining. But anyways, it is what it is. Listen, you guys, there's so much that you want to do in this world. Um, and so many of you are, and I know it's a lot because it was me as well. So many of you who want to do things, but you don't want to start because it's not perfect. You want to show up with, um, you want to show up competing with the best of them, with the best cameras and the best audio and the best graphics and the best transitions and the best this and the best that. Pero for why? You don't know. You don't know. I'm going to keep it at that. I'm not even going to say a full sentence. You don't know because you don't know anything. You don't know where anything is going to take you. You don't know anything at all. The best thing you can do is at least put in the effort in the things that you really are truly passionate about, really truly want to do. Start doing it so that when, one thing that pops into my mind is making of the band, where Diddy would sometimes ask people um, who would say, like, they want to sing or whatever, they would say, so sing something. And the person would like clench and not want to sing anything. They would like be really reserved or shy. And I remember him saying several times, you're not passionate. When somebody asks you to sing, if you say you a singer and you passionate, you want to do this, somebody asks you to sing, you supposed to have your song on deck ready for them, blaring, singing your heart out. That's what you want to do. That's your passion. So when you tell somebody a big thing out here in these streets, um, trauma alert, a big thing out in these streets is coding. A lot of people want to code. Oh, code, 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 code. But a lot of those people are not coding. They're not coding. They're not taking classes. They're not around people who code. There's no mentor who codes. There's no books in their shelves about coding. There's no past history in their search engine of coding. Like there's nothing. Okay, there's no trace of this thing that they have in their mind. There's no physical trace of this thing. So it's hard to believe people when they say, you know, like if you were to find me, if somebody was to find me and ask me, like, what you want to do? And, I love to talk and all of that, and I'm like, oh, I love to have like a podcast, or I love to have my own show, or even if I don't bring it up myself, if somebody's like, oh, like I remember this one dude telling me he was a Lyft driver, Uber driver, one of the two, maybe even both. And I was just chopping it up, cool dude. And I remember him telling me like, oh wow, like you, as you're talking, I could see you being on TV. You know, I don't know. And when he said that, I was like, TV. I was like, Lord. I was like, I don't want people like that in my business. And he was like, listen, it has nothing to do. Like, I just see it. Like, I see it. Like your story, like you're very wise and the things that you've gone through and all this and all that. And I was just like, well, you know what? I receive it. You never know what the Lord is gonna do, whatever. So I receive it. And I just kept it moving. Right. And then here I am now, like what I personally always wanted is my own TV show. Always wanted my own TV show because I'm a visual person. So for me, it's all about the camera. For some people, they love to speak, so they only need a mic, um, or just a pen, and paper. Um, the thing is that after years and years, and I'm talking years, okay, because I've wanted my show since I was in junior high school. um, so after years and years and years of this thing, and now podcast being the whole thing, like you can at least, even though this is not doing much, I can at least say to someone who, if Diddy was to come to me and say, well, shoot, you've always talked about this thing, like what you doing? I could be like, well, it's not doing much, but like, I'll be recording my little thing here and there. And I could send him a link to my um profile so that he can see that, hey, yes, maybe the numbers are not there, but the effort is there, right? The effort is there. Maybe it's not looking like the most professional, but something it's brewing. You can't start a dish without first buying the ingredients, chopping up the ingredients, seasoning up what you need to season up, and, put the pot on the stove, put the oil in, and start the process. You know what I mean? I didn't buy a camera, but I have my phones, and that's what I'm doing right now. I have my two phones that I have connecting this. I bought extra things, my tripod, my light. I changed the lighting in my living room to help a little bit more as well. I have my lapel mic. I think I mentioned that already. So I did some things um that I could afford. And like I told y'all last season, like I'm sure things are only going to get better. Um, that is according to how much more interested I am, because I could continue and be like, you know what? I'm okay on this. I did 2 seasons and that was fun. It's out of my system, and delete all of this and keep on with my life. Or I could be like, this is, you know what? I'm ready to ramp to the next level. You know what I mean? All with God's blessing, of course, right? Because we don't want to move faster than Him. We don't want to move slower than Him. We want Him to create the pace, as I mentioned um, last episode. You want Him to create the pace, and we want to continue on in that pace. Um, so, you know, I think I think I needed to hear this, but I also feel like you needed to hear this. Um, and I hope you guys could hear me clear, because I just realized that I'm holding the phone so far away from me. I don't have my mic on. Man, I hope this turns out well. Anyways, I'm going to end there. Ladies, know your worth. Men, know your worth. Because some ladies out here, they be trying it. Um, let's let's do our let's do our best to be our best to people. Let's do our best to teach our children. I wish somebody would have taught me. I wish somebody was covering me during that time, but instead, even my own friends were taking advantage of me, thinking that I was a joke. So, you know, this is therapeutic. This is extremely therapeutic. Um, and hopefully I can let go, move on, become better. I don't know. I will end with this. Last season was a matter of me just starting off. Um, and I don't know how or when, but that changed. Like it opened, or maybe closed rather is the better way. Like I think it closed the door for me. Um, because there's certain things that I just don't do anymore. Um, or that I don't crave anymore. Um, Not necessarily in food, but like there's certain things that I used to crave that I just don't crave anymore. And I've been wondering, like, wow, what was it? Because I feel like if I don't pinpoint it, it could easily come back. So I really want to know, like, what was the thing that I said or did that has allowed my spirit to let go of that craving. Um, so yeah, just talk, y'all, talk, open your mouth, talk. You can't say it through a mic, you can't say it through video. You can always say it through pen and paper, and that is equally as strong. In the beginning was the word. Deuces, y'all.